So before there was Linsanity, there was just the Jeremy Lin game. And the Jeremy Lin game was a treasure. If that's all there was, I would still be here screaming at you about that right now. But it kept going. The Jeremy Lin game became Jeremy Lin games, plural. And that became Linsanity. And Linsanity was the best. Jeremy Lin didn't come out of nowhere. He was already a folk hero by the time he came to the Knicks. I was there in 2010 when Lin went head-to-head with John Wall at Summer League in Vegas, and it was in that crowd that I realized how invigorating it was for so many people to see an Asian American player compete, even on that stage. Lin ended up signing with the Warriors that year, and that's his hometown team, so I think that only compounded the excitement around him.
Jeremy Lin, Palo Alto High School's own.
But Lin was, for all we knew, a scrub. He was. The Warriors cut him because they thought they might have a chance to sign DeAndre Jordan. The Rockets picked him up and cut him for Sam Dallenberg. The Knicks only signed Lin because their point guard rotation was hideous. They only held on to him because Baron Davis got like this nasty elbow infection right before he was supposed to debut. Lin played just garbage minutes in his first month or so as a Knick, and he didn't play particularly well. If the Jeremy Lin game didn't happen, the Knicks' plan was supposedly to cut him and sign a more established point guard like 36-year-old Mike James, which would have been totally reasonable. But before they could do that, Mike D'Antoni got fed up with losing and trying to play without a real-life point guard, so he just said F it and threw Lin out there for extended minutes. That night was one of the coolest things I have ever seen in my life. It built slowly. Lin made a few plays in transition, he brought some energy off the bench, but then things started to pick up. He started getting to the rim, he started making plays out of the pick and roll, he started locking up Deron Williams. The Nets gave him space and he hit a jumper. And then with 2 minutes to go and the game still somewhat in the balance, he splits the defense, hangs in the air, draws the contact and finishes, and Mike Breen's call is still ringing in my ears. Wow! It was like a Disney movie. I felt giddy, delirious. It was the kind of feeling you get when you know you've just had a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Because, yeah, that was awesome, but when you stop to take a breath, it was like, well, the kid doesn't have much of a left hand, and I don't know about his defense, and his jumper looks a little bit mechanical, so you know. The Knicks started Lin 2 nights later against Utah, but Amari Stoudemire was out, and Carmelo Anthony got hurt early on, so Lin was suddenly in charge, and boom. Same shit. Dicing people up off the dribble and using all these clever fakes and angles and hanging in the air and making all these nice entry passes. And then he hits this ridiculous prayer of a three-pointer and he sticks out his blue tongue like a lizard, and it was like, damn, 2 Jeremy Lin games. But now he's got to go on the road and face off against John Wall, so surely that's going to be the end. Nope. Sliced his ass up. Career high in assists, up high for Tyson Chandler, out to the wing for Steve Novak, a little band-aid dangling off his chin the whole time. But then it was time for the Lakers, on national TV and at a garden that was packed with people who were there just to see Jeremy Lin. And Kobe Bryant was on the other team, and he was all pissed off about how people were talking about Lin so much. Jesus Christ. So this would be the end. And we would all reflect fondly on what came before. Jeremy would finally fall back to earth on this huge national stage with all this pressure. But we would always have those 3 games. And with just those 3 games, I would still be shouting at you right now. But he started out really hot, and the Knicks got out to a big lead, and Madison Square Garden was nuts.
Plays it in. That was excellent defense.
Even then, as a Knicks fan, you gotta be like, well, okay, that was cool, but this has all gotta fall apart soon. But no, it just kept going. He pantsed Derek Fisher with a spin move at one point, and I don't know if that was when I started crying, but by the end of the game he had 38 points and I was in tears. It was such a thrill, such a visceral full body high for a Knicks fan like me, but then there was this additional secondhand joy you felt for all the fans that had been following his journey since day one. And after that point, I think we all began to believe that this was actually real, that it wasn't just some fleeting, ephemeral experience. The next night, Lin had his first bad shooting performance since Linsanity started, and it didn't really throw anyone off. Just a few days later, he lined up a game winner against the Raptors, and we all knew it was going in, which is pretty crazy considering that he had been a bench warmer like 10 days prior. Eventually, that Knicks winning streak ended with a loss. Melo and Amari Stoudemire came back, and they didn't really meld great with Lin. Things got kind of awkward. And then Mike D'Antoni quit, and the new coach, Mike Woodson, wasn't as fond of Lin. And Lin's play from that point was up and down. He was no longer the best, most exciting player in the NBA. He was just a very promising 23-year-old, starting caliber that everyone was very optimistic about. The Knicks were in disarray, which felt familiar, but at least they had their point guard of the future. That was all we had ever wanted for the longest time. And then he hurt his knee, and then the Knicks let him walk in free agency for no real good reason. And then they had their best season in a long time because it's the Knicks. Even after Linsanity settled, I don't think we realized how unsustainable, how special all that feeling of satisfaction was. But whatever, man. Beautiful things don't last forever, and Linsanity didn't even last for 2 months. But that's what it was. It was beautiful. It was the absolute best. Thank you very much for watching The Best. Please like and subscribe to SB Nation, and I guess subscribe to my personal YouTube channel for more Jeremy Lin fan fiction.